the Powerpuff Girls reboot was strange. It was a strange happening, and I just saw a review where someone was describing. I think his name's Saber Spark. Yeah, he was describing the episode where Buttercup. It's called Butter Buff, and she gets obsessed with spray tanning and working out, and starts taking like diet supplements and stuff to get really buff. And then, but there was
super strong.
but there was a point where she had to help Bubbles and Buttercup, but she was too heavy to fly, or something. I forget the full synopsis. Something happened, and then it was like, it's okay, because we have a section at the gym where all you have to do to lose all the weight is to get really fat. And then they drew Buttercup in like a very bloated, I forget what the fetish is called, like expansion wet thing, and it was very inflation. There you go. It was very strange and odd, and it gave me like iCarly innuendo vibes, where I'm just like, I don't think kids should see this. But you know, there's gonna be a CW show for Powerpuff Girls, so
The leaked strip of that, amazing, absolutely spectacular.
the what?
The leaked script that came out like a couple months ago, probably at this point.
Oh, that describes the synopsis to the live action show.
No, just there's here. Yeah, this is a let's see, Powerpuff Girls live action script. There we are. I guess they're going back and redoing this.
Oh, the rough draft get leaked online.
Yes. Let's see. Where can I find this? No, not that. Live. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Uh, Buttercup. Dad, why'd you call the press? Blossom's gonna freak out, and the last thing we need is another crack in the bell jar. Bubbles. Blossom's fine. I saw on her Insta that she has a boyfriend. I saw on her LinkedIn that she got promoted, and I saw on her Facebook that she still talks to Grandpa despite their political differences. Buttercup. Coming back here is probably triggering for her. Bubbles. Why? Because she's the one she's the one who killed Mojo. I mean, moveon.org.
What?
I mean, .org.
She killed Mojo Jojo. They have a grandfather, and they're sponsored by 3 different social media apps.
Blossom has climbed out of bed and is beginning to put on her costume. It's the same dress they wore as little girls. Come on, guys. Let's just suit up and get this done with Buttercup. I'm not wearing that dress anymore. It's compulsory heterosexuality. Blossom.
What?
Act 2, interior, Powerpuff Girls home, kitchen floor night. Blossom's out cold. Buttercup and Bubbles hover over her. Buttercup, Bloss, wake up or we'll leak your nudes everywhere. Off Bubbles' confusion. That worked on you once. Bubbles nods, remembering, then thinks, closes her eyes.
This sounds like a parody video of like the tone deaf Hollywood execs who are trying really hard to pitch a virtue single reboot of a beloved series. And
Awesome. Aren't we here to investigate? Buttercup, I'm here to pick up a bi-curious townies. You're here to avoid rape. Lois is here to investigate, but she forgot Butch hates her. Luckily, we're dealing with another hate boner, so alcohol helps. Blossom, why do you know so much about hate boners? Buttercup, life is one big hate boner.
What?
There's some worse ones in here. Let me see.
I hope all of this is like an elaborate meme and none of this is real.
Oh wow, this is just a 61-page script.
That can't be dialogue coming out of a character's mouth.
Life is just one big hate boner. There's the entire thing. Let's see if there's any highlights that I remember. Starts with a little flashback of them.
After they made the live-action Winx Club, I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, I can see them doing like a live-action reboot of Totally Spies. But definitely not, what's it called? Powerpuff Girls. I never in a million years thought they would look live action. When, what was that game called? Fusion Fall? When Fusion Fall came out on CartoonNetwork.com, I thought it looked, the anime, not the anime Powerpuff Girls, but they were like the semi, quote-unquote, realistic Powerpuff Girls.
Fusion Fall.
I think they looked really weird.
Hold on. Blossom. Maybe I waited too long. I've been so MIA. Bubbles and Buttercup talk all the time. Buttercup even went out to see one of Bubbles' one-woman show. To see Bubbles' one-woman show. Bubbles with a chance of Bubbles.
What?
Clive. I guess Clive is who she's dating. Rude. You have had a messed up childhood that culminated in a traumatic event. It's like your therapist says, you need to go out and make your own way in the world for the sake of your mental health. Blossom, I hope I don't have a panic attack.
What?
Clive, if you do freak out, just do the exercise Dr. Platt taught you. Blossom, nodding, right. Visualize my child.
Visualize my childhood self, or visualize my hypothetical children that I haven't had yet?
Childhood self, I guess. Even though the childhood is where like the traumatic thing happened.
What traumatic thing happened when they were kids?
I guess she killed fucking Mojo Jojo.
Why? Why are they making why are they making this dark and not a kid's action? I thought when they were making this, I thought this was gonna be like Flash or Arrow, where it's gonna be like a Saturday morning popcorn beat 'em up superhero show for like tweens. Not a dark, edgy reboot where it's like, you know, do you ever think about the ramifications of the Powerpuff Girls? Like,
now, these girls, they're living in the real world. They're 25 in this show.
Why? Man, I thought it was weird when they went to middle school in the reboot and just looked completely the same. I don't know why, but it like, not to say that I like the adult design for the Powerpuff Women. That looked weird. Especially the fact that they had thighs and legs and feet, but no arms or hands.
It's just like, okay, I get it. Like, fine, mental health is important, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's not what the hold up, but that's not what the show is about. The show is about like, it was about having like a fun action superhero show that starred girls. It was like, hey, you don't have to be. It was a non-pandering way of saying like, hey, you don't have to be a macho, you don't have to be He-Man to save the day. You know?
And like fucking it's just like you're telling me like the girls who would just punch out all their problems and literally who were like this clown who was like, oh, everything's okay and I'm everyone's smile now after he like shot frown beams all over. They just kicked the shit out of him and put him in jail. Like, you're telling me those girls are now like traumatized over their lives, or at least one of them, and having panic attacks, which, like, I don't know, it seems to be missing the point. Let's see.
So I guess Buttercup isn't dating the what's his name from the Gangrene Gang?
No, she is 100%, 300% lesbian.
Okay.
Because, you know, what's the most obvious thing that Buttercup can be?
Wouldn't it have been really cool if it was Bubbles? You know,
Yeah.
not like subverting expectations, but to the whole like, oh yeah, you don't have to be a certain way to, you don't have to, your masculinity / femininity does not define your orientation kind of thing. But even then, like, I don't want to see, the other thing too is like, sure, make it a high school tween show, maybe, but like when I think of the Powerpuff Girls, I do not want to think about sex. It's the same way like I feel when like I used to go on like those like porn sites. You know how they'd have those ads where it was like Family Guy porn or bootleg anime porn. They'd have like bootleg like Aang just fucking the shit out of Katara, and I'm like, ew. Because I never viewed them as anything other than 12-year-olds, and I was just like, ew, I don't like this. Even though it was like a drawing, but still, it was just like, ew, I don't like this. So I'm glad Legend of Korra skipped past all the baby making parts. I don't know, this live action Powerpuff Girls just on its face sounds like a bad idea. Now, a live action Samurai Jack movie sounds cool, but they're never gonna do that. I don't know, this is so... We're living in a weird time. We're living in a weird... Someone made this very interesting video about, I forgot what the quote is. It's like, the first time it was genuine, the second time it's a farce, right? Or, no, I forgot what it was. It was like the first time it was special, the second time it's a lie, and the third time it's a farce. And I'm butchering the quote, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Aristotle or some shit. But, you know, the first Powerpuff Girls, something special. The second reboot, a lie. The third one is just a farce. And I think this is just gonna be terrible. This shouldn't exist. And I think that, you know, like, we're living in a weird time of reboots, and, you know, everything's gotta be an update or a gritty version or an adult version of the thing we all grew up with kids. And I'm like, I don't know, not every show needs like a gritty reboot or like a different adaptation or a take. I just think sometimes like that thing was good for the time that it existed, and we should just be letting new, if you want to tell a gritty, you know, tween show, whatever, just like make it original. I don't know, like this whole reboot thing, I'm just kind of sick of it. But like, you know, like you described to me the Velma show, it's like, really, we're splitting up the Mystery Gang again because that worked the first 3 times.
I guess they're also giving, what is it, Professor Utonium a real name, Drake.
Like a first name?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, by the brilliant Drake Utonium.
I had no issue with him not having a first name. That was back when cartoons, it was really normal for the adults to not have names. Or best case scenario in Charlie Brown, where they were just womp womp womp, you know? Timmy Turner's parents are just called Mr. and Mrs. Mom and Dad. Cow and Chicken's parents were just called Mom and Dad, and they didn't even have an upper torso. Because the joke was you'd only see them from the waist down. I don't know. It just did Dexter's parents have names? Did Mr. and Mrs. Dexter have names? I don't know. Parents usually didn't have names in those shows, except like maybe I think in Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. But Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, the joke was that these are like not down to earth parents, but very dysfunctional parents. They're not like picturesque in any way. Like Mandy's parents are psychological wrecks who look like a bunch of hip young partiers, especially Mandy's dad. They looked like they were hip and young and like doing a bunch of partying, and they just kind of didn't wrap up and had Mandy. And Billy's parents are just an utter disaster. Billy's mom is a paranoid, anxiety-riven wreck, and Billy's dad is just an oblivious idiot who, and mind you, Billy is an idiot, but like, Billy's dad is such an idiot that he's incompetent, and he can't help his wife, who's just in constant stress and panic all the time because literal death is hanging out with her son and at her house, and the ramifications of that are terrifying, for a normal person, but because of her anxiety, it's amplified times 12. Didn't she try to kill Grim in that one episode? She thought she could kill Death.
And the rest of the fucking script, and no, I don't remember if she tried to kill Grim. I don't remember too.
It was something where she tried to poison him or something. I remember she tried to kill Grim because she was like, she thought he was like a, well, he is the Grim Reaper, but she was like, she's like, I cast you out, demon, or I send you back from whence you came, and you're not gonna take me and my family. And it was just like really, really cuckoo bananas, but at the same time, I think they even, like, at the end of the episode, if I remember right, they take like the Happy Farm guys come in with the white coats and the padded truck and just throw her in there, and then she comes back in a later episode. They're like, hey, are you cool now? She's like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, that did happen.
Man, what a good show.